Hey there, guys. So we're on a hike today, but I'm actually coming on here to tell you about my experience at AT Gateways. I had an incredible time, and I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what happened and encourage anyone who is thinking about hiking the AT or planning a through hike in the upcoming years to go to this event next year, or years down the line, depending on what you're planning. But I just had an incredible time.
We are currently en route to Amicalola Falls. It is not my start date, but it is now. It's called AT Gateways, but in the past it was Appalachian Trail Kickoff. And so excited to go, be a part of Tent City, meet some other hikers, and learn all about the trail, and hear from all the various speakers and see what's going on this weekend.
In half a mile,
Can't wait
at the
to
traffic circle, take the first exit onto Georgia 136 East, Highway 136 West.
Can't wait to take you along. Here we go.
All right, all set up in Tent City. Starting to rain a good little bit here. Definitely getting chilly for sure. Gonna set up my pad and my bag and then start meeting people. Maybe go see the archway and yeah, get ready for all the events coming up this weekend. I'm excited. This is where it all begins. Just one more month. We're hitting the trail. Can't wait. First time seeing the arch. Here we are. So I saw a few people actually post in groups that this wasn't a great event in the past, and that they had a negative experience. They had a few different things that they mentioned. For one, if you do decide to camp in Tent City there, it is a $20 fee per night, which I understand, isn't cheap, but also this event is free to anyone who wants to attend. So I didn't feel bad I stayed one night in Tent City. I didn't feel bad spending $20 to camp there, because I definitely think everything that happened during the weekend was worth that expense. Now that is a heck of a blowdown. Jeez. Flowers are blooming. So excited. So pretty. So today we are actually in my old stomping grounds. This is where I spent a good bit of time in high school. But I probably haven't been out here in over 10 years. And it's so cool. I can already see the waterfall. It's really flowing. In the summers, it's completely dried up. I've actually not very successfully rappelled down where that waterfall is. When I was in high school, I worked at a summer camp, and we did a week of adventure camp, and one of the things we did was go rappelling here. But oh, it's so pretty. So here we are now at the top of the falls. Let's see, they go down. But that actually right over there is where we rappelled down. So we were anchored to, I think, that tree right there. That one in the back. I remember sitting there and watching everyone else go, and then we went down. I definitely got stuck on that ledge there. So that was fun. But yeah, it's so fun to see it flowing. I usually come in the warmer months where there's no water, so it's so pretty. Woo! Got my feet wet. as I kind of anticipated. That's okay. Getting used to it. Don't know if you can tell, but that is a horseshoe print. I've seen a lot of them, and I'm kind of starting to smell something, so I'm trying to be very careful where I step, because I don't want to be smelling that the whole 10 miles. I also want to give a huge shout out to all the incredible people that I met this weekend. I had several people recognize me from the channel, which was so weird and wonderful. I am so sorry if I was incredibly awkward. I really was not anticipating that, so that was really cool. But thank you to everyone that said hi. Daryl, Melissa, Pam, Alpha Gal, who will be starting his Sobo flip-flop in September. Best of luck to you. Kara, who hiked, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but she had seen some of my videos, which was really cool. She has an incredible channel too. I'll put her on the screen. She also has a really cool business. She makes candles, and the scents are inspired by the Appalachian Trail. So she has one called Appalachian Trail, one that is themed after the Smokies, and it smells like being at a campfire. My two favorites were the one themed for the 100-mile wilderness and the Shenandoahs. I did buy the Shenandoah one, and she has a lot more that she's creating right now that are going to be coming out soon. Got to sniff some of those, and they were so good. So definitely, I'll try and find her shop and link it if I can. I also made a new friend, Tiffany. She is section hiking the trail. She did, I believe, from Newfound Gap down to Springer Mountain last year. And right now, she is actually on a bit of a section hike again. And so excited for her to hear about her adventures, how that goes. And I met this lovely lady, Becky, who is planning her through hike for next year. We really hit it off. It was great meeting you, Becky. I feel like you're kind of like my Appalachian Trail mom. So it was great spending the weekend with you. So thankful to have spent that time together. I also met Miss Janet. I didn't get the opportunity to meet Jean Espy and Billy Goat, but they were there as well. So that was cool to see them. I met some shuttle drivers and hostel owners. I met several former thru hikers like Redbeard. I think it was Fuzzy Bear. I never actually caught your name, so sorry if I'm wrong about that. I also met wonderful gentleman I talked to extensively at the fire on Friday night, but I never caught his name, so I don't know who that was. But everyone was just so kind and so helpful, had so much advice. It was so nice. This is a steep, muddy hike for sure. Not too bad though. I feel for the horses that were on this trail recently. You can tell they were sinking real deep. I'm sinking myself, but definitely not as bad as they were, for sure. Also, while I was at AT Gateways this weekend, I was very intentional never to say Appalachian because I was definitely the only one there that was not saying Appalachian. And I don't really know how I ended up pronouncing it the way that I do, being from Georgia, but that is just always the way I'd heard other people say it. people online, but also people in my own life, I do just find it interesting. Like, I'm in Georgia, but no one I know says Appalachian, but at Amicalola, I was the odd one out for sure, so I kept my mouth shut. What? It's a switchback. I haven't seen one of those yet. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't know that I can go that direction. That seems kind of difficult. Stumbled upon this little campsite. So nice out here. Bet that would be an incredible view if it wasn't so foggy. All right, so while my food is rehydrating, let's talk a little bit about what went down at AT Gateways. So the first night, it was Friday night, I got there and I set up my tent at Tent City, and then they had two speakers that night. The first one kind of talked a little bit about Appalachian Trail history and the four guys who really were pioneers of building the trail and mapping it out, and then also how it ended up being the route that it was. Because originally it would have ended in the Cohuttas, but that was a little too far from Atlanta, so they moved it down to Springer. And then also the only like trail association that was present for like the mapping was the Knoxville Hiking Club. I don't remember the exact name. So whereas the trail probably would have went more in the direction of Grandfather Mountain, because of their influence, they wanted the trail to come closer to the Knoxville area. So that's how it ended up kind of going along the North Carolina-Tennessee border. So that was interesting to learn. And then the next talk was from Miss Janet, and she just talked a lot about the community of the trail, and, you know, kind of her opinions on making the best decisions on trail. But I will say the first night was very much oriented more towards people who have already hiked the trail. At the campfire, at the social hour that night, most of the people were already part of the trail community. They already had either hiked or had a business that has some sort of influence on the thru hiker community. And so it was kind of weird. Everyone was nice, and I ended up talking to people, but at first it was just like, I don't know who to talk to, because all of these people know each other and I don't know anyone. But it was still fun, and it was good to talk to those people who have already experienced trail life. So that was really fun, and I made some good connections in that time. So then Saturday was definitely the day that you need to be there if you are planning an upcoming through hike. There was so much information, so many speakers, so many vendors, and I learned a lot. So our very first speaker was Rob from Outdoor 76, who's kind of like the foot expert. So I was really excited to hear him speak and see what he had to say. And he was just talking about how a lot of people really just have the wrong fit. We've always been taught to go like more by the length of our foot rather than the like widest part of our foot, and that's really what we need to look at when we're picking out our shoes, and that can be kind of the determining factor for a lot of feet issues that we have. He also was saying that really insoles are more of a treatment rather than a like preventative thing. So if you have an issue with your foot, then wear an insole until it gets stronger, give that opportunity to heal, but then you shouldn't be wearing insoles forever, which is interesting because I just ordered insoles. So I don't know if that was the right decision. I actually talked to a girl who started wearing insoles later in her hike, and then ended up getting injured and having to come off trail. And she's kind of thinking that maybe adding the insoles that late might have like thrown her off and given her some issues. And so I've been wondering like what's causing my feet issues. And so I actually went to the Outdoor 76 table after that and had Rob measure my feet, and I was right. I've always thought I was a size 9, and I'm a true 9. I did tell him I'd sized up to a 9.5 in my trail runners for my thru hike, just to give myself, a little bit extra room to grow. And he said that was great. He said I didn't need to change anything. And when I talked to him about the fact that my feet have kind of been hurting lately, he was just really encouraging that I may be pushing myself too hard, that I need to do lower mileage and build myself up. He said that I should be going laughably slow at the beginning, single digits for sure, to give my body time to adjust. He said that when you finish each day, you should feel like you haven't done anything at all. And that's the way that you're going to keep going. And eventually those big miles will come, but you have to allow your body time to adapt. And so I am looking at, starting out a lot slower than maybe I had initially planned. But then I was just wondering, my feet had been starting to hurt around the 5-mile mark here lately, which is just crazy early for me. Like, I didn't feel like my feet should be hurting that bad, which it wasn't terrible, but it was just not characteristic. And then I realized my last 2 hikes, I've actually been tying my shoes differently. Rather than just tying them, I'd been doing the heel lock tie because I had noticed like my heel and ankle, were moving around a good bit while I was hiking, but it wasn't causing any issues. But I decided to go ahead and do that heel lock. Well, I didn't do the heel lock today, and we're only 4 miles in, but it's also been a very steep climb. It has not been an easy 4 miles today for sure. And my feet feel fine. So I do think that maybe it was just the way I was tying my shoes. We'll keep testing, see how I feel at the end of today. I'm doing about 10 miles today, which I know is still more than I probably should be doing according to Rob, but I'm not out here every day right now. And so I'm just trying to get as much time on trail, getting my body used to this, on the days that I have. But so far so good. So I'm thinking that may have been the issue. But huge thanks to Rob and all of his advice. He recommended static stretching and getting a cork ball and just really taking care of your body. We all watch all the videos on the trail and on the gear, but we really don't research our bodies and how to properly take care of them for what we're doing to them. So just a huge shout out to Rob for, all the wonderful advice that he gave. The next speaker was actually supposed to be on nutrition, but he got COVID and wasn't able to come and speak, which was really disappointing because I was looking forward to hearing from him, because I think, honestly, nutrition is my biggest concern. I can get the calories, but can I get the calories in a way that's going to fuel my body in the way that it needs to be fueled? I want to be sure that I'm getting my fiber and I'm getting my protein, as well as my calories. And so a little disappointed I didn't get to hear that speaker, but, I've been doing my own research and I'll figure it out. It's okay. And I want to say I'm so sorry that this is just me talking to you. I am not skilled at filming in public yet, or asking people to be on the vlog. This is all new, but I want to tell you about my experience. And I'm sorry I couldn't bring you there. But I definitely felt weird, pulling out my camera while people were speaking. So I'm just kind of giving you the highlight reel, and I hope you're okay with that. There were also information sessions on alternative hiking trails. So they talked about the Benton Mackay, I think the Bertram, and the Pinhoti, and some others. I didn't participate in that because I'm right now just focused on the AT. And I, maybe one day will look more into those trails. Of course, I am familiar with the Pinhoti, but I didn't attend that. And then there was also a session on dehydrating your own backpacking food. I did not join that because I am not going to be doing resupply boxes like mailed to myself while on the trail. I would consider maybe making my own meals in the future or for shorter backpacking trips, but I just don't think that it makes sense for me in this time to do my own dehydrating, and I also don't want to get a dehydrator. Don't have the money for that. Uh, so I didn't participate in those sessions. There was also a speaker, I don't remember his name, but he is a professor of philosophy and religion, and he wrote a book called, I believe it's American Camino. And so he was kind of talking about how through hikes are a kind of pilgrimage, and he's done the Camino, he's done the AT, he has also done the CDT, and he was just kind of, comparing the Camino and the Appalachian Trail, and that idea of a pilgrimage. And so that talk was mostly him like reading excerpts from his book and telling some of his stories. And so that was interesting for sure. The next presentation was on food protection, specifically when it comes to bears, but also just any animal. And so they spoke about what to do in the event that you see a bear, how to report aggressive bear activity that you may see on trail so that they can, notice any patterns and help manage that. They also talked about, like I said, what to do if you see a bear. And they talked about proper food protection. Of course, they highly recommend bear canisters. I think bear canisters are honestly really great, and if they weren't so heavy and so expensive, I might get one for the AT. It does seem so convenient to be able to just put your food in a can and set it away from camp. And of course, a bear could, roll it down a hill. But yeah. So they were encouraging that. And they also talked about, which is something people don't really talk about a lot, how trail magic can actually be pretty damaging to the trail. I'm not sure if they spoke about this one or in hip hygiene, but probably in both. Trail magic, especially, just leaving food in the woods for hikers, can actually cause a lot of issues because that is unattended food. And wow, I'm so grateful for the people who do leave stuff for hikers and, give us things that maybe we aren't able to carry on trail. It is, not necessarily a positive thing to leave food on trail unattended. And so that is just something to think about and something that doesn't really get talked about a lot. The next session was on hygiene. So they talked about, how to properly dig a cat hole and all of that jazz, how to care for your body on trail. So a lot of that, was not new information, but they presented it in a very fun way. And I really enjoyed hearing from Brent and Chelsea. Chelsea is a ridge runner, and she is very fun. I've already seen several videos of people meeting her on trail during their thru hikes. So, shout out to Chelsea. She's awesome. And then the next was a panel for ridge runners and Appalachian Trail ambassadors to kind of talk about what it is they do, how they educate people on trail about leave no trace principles, and, help make sure that the trail is being well taken care of. And they talked about what a difference they've seen in the last, I guess, 5 years since they started, or maybe it's 10, I don't remember. But in the last several years since implementing the Ridge Runner program, how much better condition the trail is. So shout out to Ridge Runners and Trail Ambassadors. You guys are awesome. Thank you for what you do in cleaning the trail and educating people and helping them, with whatever they need. So appreciative of you, and seems like an awesome job for sure. So that was the end of my AT Gateways experience. They did have more stuff going on, but I had to pack up camp and get a move on because I had to work the next day. So I wasn't able to stay another night in Tent City. I wasn't able to go on the bat walk, which I was disappointed about because I love bats. I think they're so cool. I know a lot of people are freaked out by bats. I think they're incredible creatures. I remember when I was a kid, me and my uncle playing badminton around dusk, and the bats like swooping down to try and catch the birdie. I think they're so cool. So sad I didn't get to go on that. And then the next day they had like a trail maintenance day where everyone went out and, you know, helped do some work on the trail. So I wasn't able to participate in that. I wish I would have, but I didn't feel comfortable taking 3 whole days off of work. And so yeah, that was my AT Gateways experience. I had a blast. I met so many incredible people. I'm so thankful for everyone that I learned from and met and that came up to say hello if they recognized me. And once again, if you are considering doing the trail at any point, I highly recommend looking into AT Gateways in the future, going to this event and learning as much as you can and making these connections before you hit the trail. It is not well publicized. I just stumbled upon it. It used to be AT Kickoff and they rebranded this year to AT Gateways. But yes, so highly recommend. Had a great time. That's a pretty good size paw print. What do you think that is? I don't know. The sun came out for the first time today. So nice. It's been warm. It's like high 60s or low 70s or something. But it has been so cloudy and foggy. And I am happy to have a little bit of sunshine. Tell ya, this is a bit of a beast to get through, but we did it. And surprisingly didn't hurt ourselves in the process. Well, the trail took us to this lovely little meadow, which is so nice. Problem is, don't know where the trail is. So we're gonna walk straight, hope that that's right, and keep looking for a place. I'll pull out my map too, but I think straight should probably be okay. All right, we are finishing up the hike now. Did about, I would say 9¼ miles. I think we've discovered the issue with my feet was in fact the way that I was lacing them. Didn't really have any issues today despite going over 9 miles. So I think the heel lock was the problem. The only pain I'm having, and I'm not having it right now, but I was a bit earlier, is like right there along the edge of my foot was hurting, which isn't a big surprise because I have a tendency to like walk on the outside of my feet. That's usually the first part of my shoe to wear down. So that's more of a me problem than a shoe problem. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope if you get the opportunity, go to AT Gateways. Well worth it. Fantastic experience for sure.